5 Grammys, a mastery of harmony that defies logic, and an output that seems superhuman. When we watch Jacob Collier, we tell ourselves, he's just a genius, an outlier. But what if I told you that Jacob's greatest gift isn't his ears? It's his psychology. While most musicians are paralyzed by fear and perfectionism, Jacob operates on a completely different mental operation system. Today we are breaking down the 4 psychological pillars that allow Jacob to create without limits, and how you can use them to reclaim your own musical joy. The Homo Ludens, the playing human. Most musicians work on their craft. They practice their instrument. Jacob Collier plays. In psychology, we call this the play state. When you practice, your brain is in a goal-oriented high-stress mode. When you play, you enter the flow state. I don't work on music. I play with sound. The moment it starts feeling like work, I know I've lost the connection to the spark. Psychological deep dive. This is about intrinsic motivation, when the reward is the activity itself. For example, playing. Dopamine levels remain stable. When the reward is being good, work, we trigger cortisol the moment we hit the wrong note. If your instrument feels like a chore, you aren't a musician anymore. You are a data entry clerk. To fix this, spend the first 10 minutes of every session doing something useless, just making noise for the sake of it. How does he finish so much music? Most of us musicians are editor musicians. We play a chord and immediately ask, is this good? Does it sound like me? Is it too simple? This activates our prefrontal cortex, the critic. Jacob effectively evicts the critic from the room while he's creating. The Collier quote, I try to keep the analytical mind and the creative mind in different rooms as much as possible. When I'm creating, I'm just following my nose. I'm not asking why, I'm just asking what's next. This is the separation of divergent thinking, like generating ideas, and convergent thinking, like judging them. Jacob allows himself to be bad to get the good. Quantity leads to quality. Jacob's productivity comes from radical permission. He knows you can turn sand into gold, but you can't make gold if you don't even allow the sand to exist. Radical acceptance. The no wrong notes rule. We spent years terrified of mistakes. Jacob has a psychological shield against this. He doesn't see mistakes. He sees unresolved tension. The Collier quote, the most important thing for any creator is to give yourself permission to be bad. If you don't give yourself permission to be bad, you will never be free enough to be good. This is cognitive reappraisal. By deciding that wrong notes doesn't exist, he removes the threat response from the amygdala. He stays in the growth mindset even when things get messy. Coaching takeaway: next time you hit a wrong note, don't stop. Repeat it. Make it emotive. Turn your mistake into intention. This trains your brain to stay in the flow instead of switching to panic mode. Why is he never nervous? Because Jacob doesn't focus on himself. He focuses on the system, the room, the audience, the sound. In psychology, we call this shifting internal focus, for example, how I look, to external focus. What are we building together? The Collier quote, "Music is not a set of rules, it's a language of emotions. If it feels right, it is right, no matter what the theory says." Performance anxiety lives in the self-monitoring loop. By making the audience part of the instrument, like in his audience choirs, he disappears into collective experience. When you play, turn the camera of your mind away from yourself and onto the listener. If you play to serve the room, your ego and your stage fright has nowhere to hide. Jacob isn't a genius because he knows more than you. He's a genius because he's braver than most of us. He dares to be messy, playful, and unpolished. Which of these pillars do you need most right now? Is it the permission to be bad? Or the need to stop working and start playing? Drop a comment below. I'm a coach and I want to hear about your biggest mental block. Let's solve it together. And if this helped you, hit subscribe for more music psychology deep dives.